Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome me, my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody.
And how's everything back in Ravenloft?
It's very noisy, and the sky is very colorful.
Colorful?
The minions of Ravenloft have forgotten it is not the 4th of July yet. Some people are starting a little early.
Well, that's not all that unusual.
This is true.
Alas.
But it's very loud and very noisy and very bright when they go off, but it's okay.
And are fireworks legal to set off and to purchase in your state, or not?
Yeah, they are. Well, it depends on the fireworks, but most of them are, yes. But
all right.
Some of the stuff my neighbor's setting off is not technically legal, I don't think, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I think the stuff I hear might do is very definitely not legal, simply because I don't think there are any legal fireworks in my state.
Well, there you go.
Let's head into our game news, and the big news for this week is that Update 26 Patch 1 has been released, and what is in this update?
Mainly, we have tweaks and fixes to the Warlock. That is...
I hope it's not a nerf of any type.
It is not. There was a lot of people were worried about that, but no. There has nothing that I can tell that has been nerfed, and I know I was checking on the forums, and I'm not seeing any big gloom and doom nerf threads going up, so far the Warlocks are safe from the nerf bat, but we'll see. The biggest changes are in a bunch of the enhancement trees. Just a few examples of that in the Enlightened Spirit tree. Displacement spell-like abilities will no longer say it can be cast on friends. The Tainted Scholar's Chain Blast sound has been adjusted, and the chain's visuals have also been improved a tad bit. There are a couple adjustments to some feats. The Fiend and the Great Old One Pack feats now prevent you from being good or lawful, respectively, in the character creation screen, and cannot be trained if you are good or lawful. But a little word of warning, if you're multi-classing into your first Warlock level, you will be able to use alignment-changing items to get around that, but they do strongly recommend against doing that, as you won't be able to activate your pact or your pact-dependent feats if you do the alignment change to get around that.
Right, and you certainly don't want to go around getting rid of a major feature of your character by bypassing limitations.
Exactly. And, basically that's about it. Like I said, there is just some other tweaks. It's now easier to fire off spells while you're using your blast attack. Burning Blood now functions correctly. The description has also been changed to reflect the spell's actual intended 10-second duration. And I think the weirdest note, and apparently this happened over last weekend, and somehow I missed this, and I don't know if you missed this as well either, but apparently random champion chests were spawning in public areas.
Public areas? In the marketplace?
Yes, I saw on the forums, in particular, people were talking about these champion chests that were spawning in the marketplace.
In the market? Well, that was quite a marketplace then.
It very
Buy
well
this
was.
champion chest!
So that's no longer happening. Apparently, Update 26 introduced a little bug where the game kind of came self-aware and decided to give chests away, I guess. So that's
all
fixed
right.
as well.
Head on then to our next item, which is a hot fix that was on Monday. And this hot fix was, I presume, to fix a crash of some sort?
Yes, that's exactly what it fixed. There were some players that were having issues when they were in-game and then they logged out and were switching characters on the same server. They were crashing completely out, and they had to go into Task Manager and close out all the DDO processes and then relaunch the game. And every time they would switch characters, that would happen. Supposedly that is now fixed.
Supposedly?
Yeah, I know today I was looking on the forums, and I did see people are still talking about that is still an issue. They're still having the problem, but some of the people that had the problem said they no longer have the problem, so.
Then let's head out into our DDO Chronicle of the Week, issue 148. We're getting closer to 150, and anything special in this week's
Well, in the Community Spotlight section, we do have a shout-out for the Shady Rogues, who are chronicling their DDO adventures on YouTube. And I have watched a couple of their runs, and they seem like a great group of folks. And their commentary and stuff they add on is pretty enjoyable to watch.
Oh.
So check them out. And also in the community events, DDO Cast is having their summer extravaganza. Whew, that's a mouthful. It's put on by Patrick from DDO Cast, of course. And it's a summer scavenger hunt. And what you need to do is take pictures of certain things. For example, if you find a waterfall, you take a picture of that and submit it, and you will get 1 point for your waterfall picture. You can also get 1 point for taking a picture of you sitting on a throne.
Okay.
And you can get 2 points if you can take a picture of a damsel in distress. So, hey, I can get a bunch of points tomorrow night then. More on that later. And then you can get like 1 point for a memorial to a real life person or / event. And then there's a couple other ones. Like there's one that if you have a full 12-person party, but you have all 12 different class symbols, you will get 3 points for that picture, and so on and so forth. You can click over in the Chronicle. It takes you to the forum post that tells you about what you have to do and how many points you get. And there are prizes involved in this. The grand prize is 5,000 turbine points, and that is drawn randomly with any person that has at least 30 points by the time this is over will be eligible for that prize. And then there's also 2,500 TP, 1,500 TP, and some Autos boxes, some 500 TP point codes, and some other various little items like jeweler toolkits and raid pass timers. So check that out in the forums if you want to know the exact rules and what you need to do. And I know on the last episode of DDO Cast, Patrick did kind of explain this more in depth, since he's the one that came up with this idea and he's hosting it. So you can listen to that if you want some more information, or just check out the forums.
All right, then. Then let's head into the store sales. If you don't, or do you have more stuff in the Chronicle?
Nope, that was pretty much all I wanted to highlight this week.
All right, let's go into the store sales then. Anything nice and juicy?
Yes, there's some great stuff in the store this week. 20% off the following items: shared bank storage, character bank upgrades, the storage bags, shared bank platinum vault. So it's always good to see those on sale, especially 20% off of those. So if you were waiting to get some more storage bags or more bank upgrades, now is the time to do that. Your free sample this week through July 2nd would be the long-lasting Eagle's Majesty Potion. You will get 5 potions when you use coupon code EAGLE2, EAGEL2. And once again, 5 potions, and you can get 1 of those per account, as usual for the coupon codes. And also through July 6th, the Autos boxes are back. If you want to spend money to buy an Autos box, you can now do that through July 6th.
All right, then. Let's go into our site news, and our first item is that DDO Players News, special number 3, a chat with Turbine. And when you say Turbine, do you mean anyone particular? You mean Cordovan, or do you mean something else?
Cordovan was there. Of course, he is the community manager. We also had 2 of the developers on, Steelstar and Varguil. Took some time out of their day to have a little chat with us. And we just so happened the time that would work for all of them to come on was actually launch day of Update 26. So I'm sure they were a little busy, but they still took about 45 minutes out of their day, and we had a nice little chat. Talked about the Warlock a lot, of course, since, it was just coming out that day. We talked about some of the other stuff in Update 26. We also talked about Update 27, where we broke some news and got the name of our next update, which will be out later on in July. And that is going to be called Update 27, the War of our Archons. So spoiler alert, there will be Archons.
Oh, you really think so?
Well, I would think. Unless they're just teasing us with that title. and talked about a few other things, and we ended up talking about plushy beholders. You just have to listen to the episode to understand why the topic of conversation turned that way. And I would like to thank all those guys for taking time out of their day. And, of course, Lessa joined me as well because it was basically in the middle of a workday and you couldn't join. So I got Lessa to join at the last minute just to add some Lessa little bits of what Lessa does to the show. And she did. She did not disappoint. So check that episode out. Once again, thank you to all three of those guys from Turbine for taking a little time out of their day.
All right. Thank you for being guests with us, even though I couldn't be there at the time.
Yeah, that's right. You were there in spirit, though, I'm sure.
I was there in spirit, yes. Haunting Lessa, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our weekly poll. And the question is, have you rolled up a Warlock?
Well, 49% of our voters says yes, they have. That equaled out to 30 votes. We had 61 total voters in this poll, so right about our average number that we have for our polls every week. 21% said no. 16% said no, they're waiting for a sale on it first. And 13% said nope, and they don't have any plans to.
I wonder what the 13% usually play. I guess the Warlock must be out of there. Like if you like a pure melee class, I presume you might not like playing Warlocks.
Probably that, or maybe some people don't like playing casters either. That could be. And I know another big bone.
Well, if you like playing pure melee classes, I would think the casters are the.
Well,
that's right, because you also have rogues and stuff like that.
Yeah, true. And we did have a couple comments on this. Charles said he bought it at full price and he hasn't looked back. I really enjoy the abilities in the ES tree, and I find my Warlock to be a tough SOB. Really hope nothing changes because it feels like the devs got this class exactly right.
And Numbra says, I am glad they added my favorite Pop 4E class. I was getting bored, but now have new vigor for the game. The Warlock plays as it should, aggressive, with a hint of malice. I am looking forward to its fine-tuning.
And our final comment on our poll was from Bonnie Bew. She says, if the Warlock class hadn't been free to VIP, I would have waited for a sale. Had some sticker shock when I saw it cost 1,395 turbine points.
And guess who would have spent $13.95 if it wasn't required if VIPs didn't get for free?
Yeah, you had said you had been saving up the TP for it, so you were ready.
I saved up 2,000 to be sure I was able to get it right away, and was quite surprised when I didn't have to do it.
Holy cow, you're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding at all.
That's crazy.
And it looks like you weren't kidding when you were preparing to shoot this warlord in the face on our screenshot of the week.
Well, sometimes that's how you have to deal with war chiefs. They only recognize violence, so I was ready to give him violence. And I noticed you're just up there talking calmly to him, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
He was a mighty war chief until he took an arrow to his eye.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have a screenshot you would like to see featured on our site, go ahead and send that to podcast@ddoplayers.com, and we might use your screenshot on the site in our screenshot of the week.
All right, then. Then let's head into news beyond DDO. And the most important that is, of course, Titan's Grave, Episode 3, Danger at the Market.
They ran into all sorts of danger.
Oh, yes, all sorts of danger, yes. I think there were terrorists involved somewhere.
Ooh, good teaser, Pineleaf. Good teaser. In the last episode, which would have been Chapter 2, they said farewell to the Beer Baron and Keggy. Oh, Keggy. Everybody loved Keggy. Oh. And they headed into Nestoria in search of the antiquarian. I can't say that word.
Antiquarian?
Hey, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. To find out about their mysterious orb they're carrying around. And you can tune into this episode to see if they find out what their orb does and what happens to our brave band of adventurers.
Yes, and if you do like the Titan's Grave series, you can now get some merchandise that's associated with it. For example, you can get a t-shirt that tells you how much you will do anything for 5 gold and a party.
That's right, 5 gold and a party, Pine Leaf. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
That shirt is $25. And then you can also get the just plain Titans Grave logo t-shirt, which is $20. And the shirts right now are on pre-order. They said they're expected to ship around the middle of July. But if you want a poster of our party, you can pick that up right now for $10, and that ships immediately. And all those can be found over on dftba.com, which, in case you're wondering, because I know you were, that's Don't Forget to Be Awesome.
Don't forget to be awesome. That sounds like a Hank Green line.
Yes, I do believe that it does. So head on over there and pick up your 5 gold in the party t-shirt, because everybody needs one of those.
But we do have some news other than Titans Grave. The 2015 ENnie nominees have been announced. And exactly what's an ENnie?
Well, the ENnie are the annual Gen Con EN World RPG Awards, are the ENnie Awards for short. These are put on by the folks over at EN World, which is a pretty cool website. If you're into all things RPG, they have news and forums into all sorts of good things, and they are awarded each year at a annual banquet, which happens Friday night at Gen Con. This year, the award ceremony will be July 31st, and the public voting opens for the ENnies on July 4th. And there are several different categories to pick from. They have Best Adventures, Best Aid/Accessory, Best Art Interior, Best Art Cover, the Best Blog, Best Cartography, Best Electronic Book, Best Family Game, Best Free Product, the Best Game Overall, Best Miniatures Product, Best Monster/Adversary, the Best Production Values, and the Best Podcast, which I think they made an oversight and we're not up for that, but we'll have to correct that for next year. Yeah, get on that, ENnies. We want awarded next year. No, I'm just kidding. The Best RPG-related product, Best Rules, and Best Setting. And there are several games, and of course, D&D 5e is up in several of these categories. The Best Adventure for Horde of the Dragon Queen, Rise of the Tiamat is up for Best Art Cover.
Well, not quite 5e. We also have for Best RPG-related product, the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Which would be the board game.
Yes, the board game version of the Temple.
So yes, Wizards of the Coast is up for quite a bit for Dungeons & Dragons. And if you want to find out who wins, you can either A, go to Gen Con, go to the award ceremony, or just stay tuned to our Twitter and our website, because I will be listing the winners as they happen during the award ceremony. I'm going to be tweeting them out on the DDO Players Twitter. And then once the ceremony's over and I get back to my hotel room, once I have some good internet, I will put a post up on the website. So pretty soon you're going to get inundated with Gen Con posts. It's going to be a lot of Gen Con.
So that'll be in about 28 days, 3 hours, 1 minute, and 24 seconds?
But who's counting, finally?
Yeah, who's counting? Then let's head into our week in DDO. And I've heard a rumor that you've done quite a bit of stuff this week.
I did a lot of stuff. We will start with my rogue, who is still hanging out at level 14. Decided to head back into the Temple of Elemental Evil Part 1. Did it on hard to see if the patch notes for Update 26 were correct and they changed the drop rates. In my personal opinion, nope, haven't changed them at all because I didn't get nothing. Nada.
Nothing?
Not a thing. I had 4 of the random chests because I had 4 of the bosses and didn't get anything out of there, and then didn't get anything out of the end chest after I killed the boss in Part 1. I didn't go into Part 2, but I might go into Part 2 just to run around to get some random bosses and see what happens, but I'm going to give this a couple more runs to see, but I'm telling you, that bow and that dagger just keeps eluding me. One day I'll get that.
Tricky bow.
And I was running around the temple. For some reason, I thought, I need to play my Shader Kai a little bit. I haven't played that Shader Kai forever. So I logged in to that. I'm level 15, of course. Basically, I'm still doing Wayloon, so I was working on the Slayers, the Rares, and the Journals. Did run a couple quests while I was in Wayloon Prison. I did Army of Shadow, The Wizard in the Well, and The Thrill of the Hunt. Then I attempted, the keyword being attempted, to do Through a Mirror Darkly. While I do not understand that quest, it is super, super confusing.
Through a Mirror Darkly. It sounds like Alice going through the looking glass.
In a way, it kind of is, because as you're running through the dungeon, there are things that you click on, and you go into the dark side of the dungeon.
The dark side.
Yeah, yes. You're in an alternate reality, basically, from what I understood. And then you have to find stuff on the dark, and then you got to click to go back over to the light. And then there's parts of it to where you have to go to the dark to be able to advance through on the light. And it's just like, oh, I was so confused. So I'm going to have to attempt to run that again. I might try to find somebody to run it with me. Like I know Lessa has characters on Kenneth, and Bonnie Bew, that's her home server, and Moosey as well. So Moosey and Bonnie, I might be hitting you up for a Through the Mirror Darkly run. Just a heads up for you. But that was it for Wayloon. Then I decided to do some work on my level 4 Warlock, which is no longer level 4. I did reach level 5. Also hit 100 favor. What I was doing is I was being crazy-like, and I was running everything on Elite when it was possible to run it on. I did about everything you could do in the harbor. I don't think the only one that I know I didn't do is the stupid stealthy repossessions.
Oh, what about the guard at the harbor?
Ooh, I forgot that one. I'll have to go back and do that one.
Well, no, you hit level 5. You can't do it after you hit 5.
That's true. I can't do it anymore. That's right. I always forget about that quest because I usually never do it because I usually don't have any of the skills required to do it. So
you're a warlock. You must have a
I would have.
Charisma that's through the roof.
I would have on my warlock if I would have thought about it, but I didn't think about it. But yeah, like I said, I ran everything on Elite. I did an explosive situation, arachnophobia, which of course that was only on solo. Information is key, the Miller's Debt, Home Sweet Sewer. And that one I actually did something different this time. I just wanted to see if I could actually do it. What I did, and of course that one is the one where you have to go down in the sewer and you have to round up the dogs and have the dogs run back to the exit with you.
Right.
Well, usually I do that one. I do one dog at a time.
Yeah, that's what I normally do, though occasionally I think I once grabbed them all at once.
That's what I did this time, just to see if it would work, and it actually did. I did notice there was a couple times I had to stop and wait for them because they were kind of lagging behind me, and then I had to let them hit me a few times, and then they would follow me. So, yeah, I finished that one pretty quick doing it that way. So, a little hint for you, if you're running that one and you think you can survive it, just gather up all the dogs at once and you can finish it quickly. Yeah, Garrison's Missing Pack did that one as well. Dirk's Got a Secret. I still love that quest. That's one of my favorite harbor quests, I think. Smuggler's Warehouse, Recovering the Lost Homes. I walked the Butcher's Path and lived to tell the tale. But I about got myself perished at the end of the Butcher's Path.
Yeah, Elite on that can be nasty even if you are a higher level, right?
Yeah, that dude is tough. At that spawns at the end there, and also did the Captives and Kobold Assault, and then I did the man named Baudry Cardamon as well. Did those 3, and then on that character, I also ran the Catacombs with you on our Wednesday night playthrough, which I will save that for you to talk about. And then over on Argadessence, if you tuned in last week to the show, you heard that I created this weird combo character of a cleric, druid, warlock. And basically the only reason why it's a cleric is because I created an iconic and I wanted to be a sun elf because I've never made a sun elf. So therefore, hey, I'm a cleric now. But I didn't take any cleric training at all. I just put everything into basically druid and warlock. And the reason why last week I didn't share, I said it was a mystery. Well, the cat is out of the bag. Good one, Pinely. Good one. The reason why I did that is I got invited to participate on the Damsels of DDO, and that's going to air Wednesday morning / Tuesday night, depending on where you're at. It's 11 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday night, it's 2 a.m. Eastern time, which is server time, Wednesday morning. So therefore, I'm going to be playing DDO at 2 a.m. in the morning. Yay! How awesome is that?
You are going to attempt to play DDO at 2 a.m. in the morning.
This is true. And who knows what those damsels are going to have me do, because they tend to run everything on Elite or Epic. So it's going to be interesting. But I have my little wolf that's going to shoot fireballs out of its mouth. So I think it'll be fun. So what I did in preparation for that is I decided, I'm just going to run a bunch of quests on Elite to just get favor, because I was way over level for all the quests I was running. I was just basically looking for the free agent and the coin lord favor. So I basically ran everything that I talked about that I ran on Caneth with my level 5 Warlock. I ran them all on Elite over on Argon Essence just for the favor, because favor is always good. So that was my busy week. What did you do this week in DDO, Pineleaf?
All right. I did a few things also, and I will begin with the Warlocks that I'm doing for my video series, where I ran quests on Korthos Island. I first ran Necromancer's Doom. I ran that at Elite, because if you recall from last time, at the end of episode 3, I had opened up the die roll. I did the die roll, and on the gold, I hit the jackpot, the 100. So it gave me so much experience, I was instantly level 3. So I decided, let's see how Necromancer's Doom works at Elite, which is the level 3 setting, and that all went well. And that's recorded and already posted. And I also did the same thing with Redemption, and that will be posted very soon. Then I decided that the next episode I'll record after that will be Misery's Peak. So I did the other quests in the area without being recorded. So first I did Stopping to Sohuagin, and when I was doing that, I hit level 4, but I didn't go and level up yet. I decided to go and do sacrifices first, and decided to do sacrifices at Elite. Now, doing sacrifices at Elite isn't all that tough, unless you're doing something insane like going after these arcane skeleton.
The skeleton? Oh, you did not.
All right. Hold person is not a fun thing being cast on you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I didn't think about asking the cleric to heal me while I'm under hold person, which would have been useful, I think, because if I couldn't do anything else, at least maybe I could get healed up a little bit so that I can be able to do something once I'm back in shape, rather than being killed by this arcane skeleton, which I think I had him down pretty far close to death, but of course, once I was held and was being pummeled like that, it was pretty much over.
Yeah, that guy's tough on Elite if you're doing it on level or about level. That skeleton, I've died to that skeleton I don't know how many times, so I hate that Elite arcade skeleton.
Right. Now, there is a silver lining to this rather nasty result, and that is that I found out that there was actually a sequel to the quest that you do when you first enter into Korthos Village, where someone gives you a quest to talk to a spirit binder.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that there was actually a quest that the end of the quest, we didn't finish that quest, it looks like. The end of that quest is when you get killed and get sent back to the end afterward.
Yeah, I gotta say, the only way to finish that is to get killed.
Right, which that arcane skeleton decided to oblige me and do that for me.
Well, hey, you got a bonus then.
So I got
but you finished it.
Yeah, so at least I finished that quest. After that, I went back in, I leveled up to level 4, then I went back in and retried sacrifices normal so I could get through it. Went out to that skeleton mage because I knew that there was no way he was going to beat me when I'm level 4 and he's at level... Well, I don't know what level he is when you're at normal setting, because he's probably a couple of CRs above the dungeon's rating. And then I blew him to bits.
Okay, you got your revenge then at least.
Got my revenge.
Revenge is a best dish served cold, as they say.
Right. Then on my Warlock on Caneth, I ran the first 2 parts of the Waterworks, Clan Gnashtooth's Lair and Rescuing Arlos. And when doing Rescuing Arlos, I decided to do something that I did not ever do before. And that was, before going in to rescue the prisoners, I took a left turn and went to the optional area and did that first.
You've never, I mean, that's not the first time you've done that optional, or is it? Because I usually always do that optional.
Yeah, I think I might have done that optional once or twice before, but it was afterwards. This is the first time where I intentionally did that first. Normally what happens is I go in, get the prisoner, bring him out, and now since I'm just past the trap and I have to go through the trap again in order to get back to the optional, yeah. I just normally say, oh no, I don't feel like going through that trap a third time. So therefore, I normally skip the optional. But this time I decided, let's do the optional first so I don't have to worry about going through the trap 2 more times if I wanted to go and do it. So I went through there and managed to finish everything in there. Fortunately, the cleric had enough intelligence to get me through the rune that is guarding the prisoner. Now, there is this question about looks versus stats, I think, that was being discussed last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to note that I'm currently on my Warlock. I'm wearing a +4 outfit. And I have a couple of times seen +1 chain that would give me 1 extra AC. But I decided that I don't want to do that. 1, because I like to look at the outfit better. But 2, because wearing chain gives me a -1 to my jump skill, and I don't think a +1 AC is worth losing 1 to my jump skill because, as you know, I need all the help I can get when I'm jumping.
Yeah, I was going to say, we all know that you need help with jumping, so any little bonuses you can get is a good day for Pineleaf.
Right. And then I ran the Catacombs with you, where first we ran the Friar's Niece at normal, then To Find a Witness at hard, then Duality Archives hard, Duality Crypt of the Gerard Dryden at normal, and then Setting the Wars Lower Cathedral at normal. And then after that, I went into the harbor and ran an explosive situation. The main reason for running an explosive situation is I had a new skill that I gained from my tree, and I wanted to see what it was like. This was an area blast that I could send out sometimes. And that's a nice little skill to have when I remember that I have it. And I also ran Home Sweet Sewer, and this time I wound up going to 1 dog at a time. And then I eventually returned to the Waterworks and ran Clan Tunnelworm and Ven's Fate. Then there is my Permadeath Wizard. And there, I decided to see if the Eternal Wand of Magic Missiles would be given early, because I noticed that it was given as an optional reward when I was running with you when I was on my Warlock. Of course, that wasn't going to help my Wizard since my Wizard's on a different server. So I thought, well, maybe I could get that the early reward for my Wizard. So I decided to run the early parts of the Catacombs. So I ran the Friar's Niece, To Find a Witness, and the 2 duality ones, and no, I was not offered the Eternal Wand of Magic Missiles, and I didn't feel like taking a permanent character against Marguerite.
Didn't want to push your luck?
I did not want to push my luck, so I went out and decided to head out to the Sharn Syndicate and ran that. Stand Your Ground, Dirty Laundry, the usual things in there. Now, the Storm Reaver Fresco, that's where things got a little bit strange. Because apparently, I had absolutely nothing that was useful against those crazy crystals. Absolutely nothing. All right, I could use my staff and go bink, dink, bink, dink, bink, dink, and just chip away little by little by little, because let's face it, I'm a wizard. Strength is either 8 or 6. I can't remember which one it is. I think I'm a halfling, so you can imagine. Ding, 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 ding.
Say, beating on things is not your forte, is what you're saying.
Right. And I tried summoning dogs to help me and to help with the Iron Guardians and all that stuff, but the dogs kept on getting killed, and I eventually ran out of spell power, and eventually I just had a nominal amount left, so I really couldn't do much on that end. So what I eventually had to do in order to complete the instance was cast Expeditious Retreat, which is just about the only thing that I was able to cast with my low spell points, run around the vault, reach the crystal, hit it 3 times with my staff, then run again just before the dogs come out, hit it 3 times, and I did this over and over and over again. I did have to wind up using every single one of my healing pots in order to get this done. But eventually, I managed to destroy those crystals, then ran out of the door so that I faced into the other room, so I no longer had the dogs chasing me. And I was done there. And then after that ordeal, getting past the guards and hitting those switches was easy. But the thing that I thought of later, probably halfway through when I was bashing those things, is maybe I should have brought my hireling, had the hireling help me against the dogs and chipping away at that. And if I had thought of doing that, then I could have just put the hireling on passive when I got back into the main building so the hireling wouldn't attack the guards. And I just didn't think of that. I just thought that, if I bring my hireling, then I'm going to have the hireling's going to attack the guards and cause me to lose the optional.
Kill the guard for you, exactly, yeah.
Right. And the other problem I had is I remember one time I had thought of that when I went to the other room, and I decided to dismiss my hireling. Piece of advice: never dismiss your hireling in that particular instance, because if you do that, you're considered to have left the dungeon, or a member of the party has left the dungeon, and apparently escaping that way defeats the scenario they set up, so they consider that to be a loss.
Oh, you failed it. Really?
No, that was not this time around, but that was several months ago when I did that with a different character. So don't bring in a hireling and then dismiss them, because it's considered to be failing the instance. I then did the Bookbinder Rescue, which was typical Bookbinder Rescue operation. And then Repossession, where when I was doing Repossession to get that fresco back, the very first trap I did, because I couldn't tell which one was the trapped one. Now, is it always the same one, or is it randomly chosen?
I think it's random, but I'm not
sure.
I
thought so.
I'm pretty sure it's random.
Yeah. So I did check them all to see whether or not this was one that's trapped in, maybe the one that was. But it turns out that 20 intelligence is not enough to determine whether or not one is trapped or is connected to the door in the back. Now, sometimes I did see the traps. I got some information. This was a fire trap, or this was an acid trap. But some of the other traps, no, that wasn't good enough. As a result, I took up the first item and blam! -6 HP.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. And this is on your permadeath character,
Yeah,
right?
this is my permadeath character.
Oh, no.
Now, of course, you get this screen up in front of you talking about saying you're incapacitated. Mm-hmm. And at first I had forgotten that you can't give any orders or do any interaction while that dialogue is up. And it wasn't until I figured out that I won't be able to give the orders to my cleric until then that I finally dismissed it. At that point, I was at -8. And finally, then I told the cleric, please heal me and get me up. And the cleric obliged, because the cleric was too dense to do it automatically.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear this.
Yep. And I got back up, and none of the other traps knocked me unconscious. Thank goodness. I think I tripped 3 traps, maybe 4 of them, before I found the item that I needed. But I got through it all, and I survived. Then I did come out and slay, and that was fairly straightforward. So I'm pretty far down the road on my permadeath character, and all I have to do now is to do the Sacred Helm and the Seal of Chantakor, and when I do that, then I'll be through with the wizard. And the wizard is particularly tough because it's a very squishy character, and getting that through a permadeath is quite a challenge.
Yeah, indeed. So congrats for making it that far so far.
I can only hope that I make it through the rest. But it does mean that I made it quite far before I managed to get myself killed or anything like that. And who knows, maybe after I complete the run, maybe I will consider going in and finishing up the Catacombs, though. Because if I get killed after the run, then who cares? If you would like to help DDO players, you can go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even to be able to guest host with us. We do have an iTunes review from Brax303. And what did Brax say?
The title of the review is The Best DDO Show Out There.
Woo!
The dynamic between Pineleaf and Drac is fantastic and many times hilarious. I'm a big fan of Lotro Players News, and hearing these hosts here as well is great each and every week. And that does bring our ratings to 7, and we have an average rating of 5 stars out of all those 7, so we appreciate that.
Very well. And as for featured comments, Limvo left a comment on DDO's news special number 3, A Chat with Turbine. Thank for Artie shout-out steal. Okay, I guess because I'm always thinking of Artie, I'm always tempted that when I say Artie for Artificer, I think I tend to... I'm not too sure how I would do it in lowercase or in that. So I was thinking he was using that word as a regular word instead of as a shortcut for Artificer. But Thank you for the Artie shout out, Steele. For Steele said he liked the Artificer, and of course I'm an Artificer player myself. So yes, it'd be nice if they could give the Artificer a little thing or two.
Yeah, that is, if you listen to that episode, he does talk about that, and he says it's on his radar to give the Artificer some love and to do a little tweaks and work on them, so it might be coming soon if he can work it into their schedule.
Very well. You can email us at podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, and Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for this time. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to loot those treasure chests.